What's up, YouTube? It's your boy John from Project Ellsworth. It's Tuesday, so that means it is time to show you guys another section of my collection. Let's see what we got this week. Alright, this week we are doing row 1, section 3, which is this guy right here. Let me pull these off of here and we can go over them. Hope everybody's doing well. Hope everybody's staying safe. One thing I do have to mention, as soon as I was pulling these DVDs off the shelf, I realized that my Alien movies were missing. So I guess that's the price you pay for introducing your son to horror movies. No doubt that they're up in his room somewhere. Alright, first up this week we have Lake Mungo. I only have 3 After Dark 8 films to die for this week. Last week that's all I had. And I read the backs of every single one of them. I should not have to do that this week. Alright, so we got Lake Mungo, slipcover. What does this one say? Pardon my voice as well. I've been working out in my yard all day today and my throat is dry. You don't care about that, I'm sure. Alright, in Lake Mungo, 16-year-old Alice Palmer drowns while swimming in the local dam. When her body is recovered and the verdict of an accident, oh my goodness. When her body is recovered and a verdict of an accidental death is returned, her grieving family buries her. The family then experiences a series of strange and unexplainable events centered in and around their home. Profoundly unsettled, the Palmers seek the help of a psychic and a parapsychologist, Ray Kemeny. Okay. Ray discovers that Alice has led a secret double life. A series of clues leads the family to Lake Mungo, where Alice's secret past emerges. Alright, so that is Lake Mungo. I know I've seen this movie. It's been a while, but I know I've seen this. Alright, next up we have The Reeds. This movie I'm pretty positive that I have not seen. In The Reeds, a weekend boating trip becomes terrifying and deadly, or becomes a terrifying and deadly ordeal for 6 20-something friends. Aboard the Corsair Star, a small cruiser, a boating party of young Londoners loses its bearings. A freak accident leads to a casualty, and then the boat runs aground. As the friends attempt to find a way to safety, they are terrorized by a group of young punks and a murderous hooded man. Alone in a vast waterway, they fight to survive the hellish curse that traps all who take passage on the Corsair Star. Alright, so that is The Reeds. I'm really struggling to talk here, people, I'm sorry. Zombies of Mass Destruction. I know that I watched this one too. I don't remember this movie being particularly great, but I watched it because it was a zombie movie. I remember that specifically. As soon as I got this, I watched it. Which was, what year was that? 2000 and what? I know it was a while ago. 2009, so 11 years ago. Alright, a conservative island community is under attack. Port Gamble, Washington, is being overrun with brain eaters, and the people seem to be powerless to stave them off. A ragtag band of rebels, led by Frida, an Iranian college student suspected of being an Iraqi terrorist, and Tom, a gay businessman who has returned to town with his partner to come out to his mother, tries to turn the tide and push the invading hordes of undead back. Yeah, it sounds good, but I don't remember this movie being particularly good, to be honest with you. What does that say? It's the best of its type since Shaun of the Dead. Don't believe that for 1 second. Shaun of the Dead was good. I don't remember this being very good. It may have been. I may be wrong, but I don't believe so. Next up we have Christina Ricci, Justin Long, and Liam Neeson in Afterlife. I remember seeing the trailer for this, and this really looked interesting. I don't think that I ever watched this movie, but I do remember this looking pretty good. Alright. Next up would have been my Alien 2, Alien 3, but instead, I'm going to kill my son. He's taking my stuff and not putting it back. Alien Resurrection. I was not crazy about this movie, to be totally honest with you. I remember the movie a little bit, but I remember not really being nuts about this one. Sorry, Mark of Horror. I know you're an Alien fan, but I don't remember liking this movie. I remember loving Alien and Aliens, but I don't really remember being a big fan of 3 and Resurrection. All right, next up we have Alien vs. Predator. I did like this movie. I actually really liked both of the Alien vs. Predator movies. This was pretty good. This is another one, I believe. The idea of this movie, if I'm not mistaken, stemmed from a comic book. Next we have AVP 2, Requiem. Same thing, good movie. I don't think I liked this one as much as the first one. I remember it being pretty cool, but I don't think I liked it as much as the first one. And this one is interesting. This is Alien vs. Predator, a bootleg copy that we bought in an alley in New York for like $3 or something like that. Some dude was selling bootleg DVDs, and this was before it was actually released. We got this when it was actually in the movie theater. And I remember correctly, the quality on this is absolute dog shit, but we got it before it was released. And then Alien Covenant. I remember thinking this was pretty good. My son and I went to the movie theater and saw this. This is the only Alien movie that he saw in the movie theater, other than, I think, maybe AVP 2. Maybe. I may be way off. I know I saw AVP 2 in the movie theater, but I thought this movie was pretty good. I was very surprised to see Danny McBride being involved in that project, and then he went on to be involved in the Halloween 2018 project. Alright, this is another movie here that I remember seeing the trailer for it. I wanted to see it, and I never watched it. All Cheerleaders Die. Multiple times over the last few years, I've seen the trailer for this movie on other DVDs that I own, and I keep telling myself that I gotta watch this movie, and I just haven't watched it yet. A true crowd pleaser. Unpredictable and hugely entertaining. Yeah, one of these days I gotta pull that thing out. Alright, All Souls Day. This is another one that I remember not being all that fantastic. Danny Trejo is in this, I believe. Yeah, that's him. Yeah, this movie was not all that great either. I saw definitely a B movie. Absolutely. I remember seeing the trailer for this also on another DVD I own. I have no idea what that DVD was, but I remember seeing the trailer for this. It looked pretty cool, and I watched it and was highly disappointed in it. I don't remember the specifics of it. I just remember not really caring for this movie very much. Alright, All the Boys Love Mandy Lane. This was actually pretty cool. Really cool twist at the end. I did a review for this movie a couple of months ago. I thoroughly enjoyed this. I thought this was good. There was a little bit of hype about this movie in the horror community before it came out, and I remember picking this up at Best Buy, and if I remember correctly, I came home that night, walked in the door, unwrapped the movie, sat down and watched it. It's really good. I thought it was a good movie. Alright, Christian Slater, Tara Reid, and Stephen Dorff in Alone in the Dark. This is another movie that I have not watched. I've always heard that this was actually pretty good, and I don't think I've ever watched it. I can't swear by it, but I don't think I've ever seen that. That's another one I got to pull up. One of these days I'm actually going to sit down and start going, pardon me, right from the beginning and watching all these damn movies. Alright, next up is the first season of American Horror Story. If you guys are a fan of this show, you know that this was the beginning, and this was actually a really good season. For those of you who don't know, this television series has been around for a number of years now, and each season there are certain members of the cast who return, but the story changes every season. It's not the same, and this particular one was a pretty good one. Next up is American Horror Story Asylum. This is their second season. This is one of those that I really didn't like. This season actually lost me pretty quick. It just seemed like it was difficult to follow, and sort of uninteresting from the beginning for me, which made it even more difficult to follow. But I recently was talking to somebody, I believe it was in the stream last week on Cadaver Club's channel, and I believe it was Ben from Cadaver Club, who said that he had a hard time with this season as well. It just seemed like there was a lot going on, and I believe he said that he thought that there should have been maybe one less thing and it would have been easier to follow. He's absolutely right. And for me, one less thing and a more interesting plot, and I would have been in. Alright, now we have the third season of American Horror Story. This is Coven. This is Kathy Bates was in this season. She was fantastic in this season. If I'm not mistaken, this may have been her first appearance in American Horror Story. And this is about a witch coven. This was really, really good. This was one of my favorites of the series so far. Next is American Horror Story 4, Freak Show. This one, Michael Chiklis was in it. Kathy Bates returned. It was about exactly that, a freak show. It was, what do they call that? It was a traveling circus, and now I can't remember. They were all freaks from a freak show, was the cast in this movie. Kathy Bates had a beard. It was weird. There was a dude with like lobster hands in this season. If you can see this, Sarah Paulson actually had 2 heads in this season. It was very unusual. I kind of liked it. I don't think I was nuts about this one either, but I do remember it being pretty good. A lot of these, for me, start off really strong, and then somewhere along the line, they start to lose me. It's almost like they just get so far out in left field sometimes that it's hard for me to keep. It doesn't hold my interest. When shit starts to getting out of control weird, these things, let's face it, they're all weird from the beginning, but when they get to a point where they get really weird and the story starts to get dry, I almost find it to be a chore to watch the rest of the season. There have been a few that were not like that for me, but a lot of them have been like that for me. And this is another one that was like that for me. Hotel. This was season 5. Lady Gaga was in this season, and I must say that I thought that her performance in this season was outstanding. I thought she was really, really good, but the story lost me along the line in here. I remember it being hot and cold. It would get boring, and then it would get better, and then it would get boring again. So I thought it was pretty good. I think that one was a pretty popular season too. All right, and here's another one. This one's Roanoke. This is Cuba Gooding Jr. was in this one, I believe. And if I remember correctly, and Angela Bassett has been in several of these too, and she's been fantastic. The performances of the actors in this have all been great. It's just the story is lacking sometimes. This, if I remember correctly, Cuba Gooding Jr. is in this season, and I might be off, but I don't think I am. I believe he's in that season, and the season begins almost like a reality show. It's filmed in like almost, there's scenes of like a confessional. If you see, that's what it's called in a reality show, when it's just the person talking and a camera on them. That's called a confessional. And I believe that Roanoke was filmed like a confessional, and things just go wrong. Not positive, but pretty damn sure. All right, that is it for that section. If you like this video, please give me a thumbs up. If you really like the video and you're enjoying my content and you're not too annoyed by the fact that I can barely talk this week, please do me a favor and click that subscribe button and then ring that notification bell. Take care of yourself, take care of each other, have a kick-ass day, and thank you for watching. Sorry about the throat, folks. Take care.